I think there's three things. First is authenticity. Does the actor genuinely connect with the character? And do they bring a different performance that feels real and relatable? And I'm always looking for someone who's bold. One of the things that I think, looking back now, having cast these 200 short films, I think I fell into the trap of trying to give the casting directors what they wanted versus what I actually wanted to do. And that's what I'm doing on the platform now. From time to time, the team calls me and says, Adam, we'd like to have you in this film and want you to play the bad guy. And then I get to go back to my roots as an actor and really take some bold risks, and really resonates well with the audience. And they really dislike me in these roles. And that's because I'm being bold. I'm no longer afraid of how I will be perceived by the casting director. And I think being bold in your audition is really, really important. And understanding that it's not a no or a yes. There's also a not now folder that actors might not know exists. And what I mean by the not now is like, holy shoot, like this guy is a solid performer. He doesn't have the look, the whole 9 yards, the different look, and maybe not the right age range, but this guy is great. I mean, his delivery was like spot on. Man, I wish I could cast this guy. I'm taking Joey and I'm putting him in my not now folder. And believe me when I tell you, casting directors have a not now folder. So the first step to getting the yes is to even get to the not now. So how do you get to the not now? You're bold, you're authentic, and you are versatile, which I think is extremely important. Can the actor adapt to different roles and emotions seamlessly, which would allow them to showcase a certain level of skill and depth in what they're doing? Now, obviously that happens a little bit more in live auditions, which tend to be a little bit on the downside right now. It's more on the self-tape side. But I would love to see two very different options that are both bold, that showcases that range. I'd rather you go way bigger or way lower, but be able to see that range in your performance, to know that you have that capability of arc in your performance versus something that's very similar that you think is what I'm looking for, that will be, chances are, like 65 to 70% of the rest of the self-tapes that I will watch. And last but not least is presence.
Welcome to Inside the Audition, the podcast where we go behind the scenes for a deep dive look into the world of auditions. I'm Joe Larsen, creator of Actors Audition Club, an international community helping actors book your dream roles in TV, film, and theater.
And I'm Brandon Knox, actor, producer, and co-host. Each episode, we chat with actors and industry professionals to share their audition experiences, insights, and advice.
We provide actors with actionable tips, strategies, and resources to help you elevate your auditions.
We demystify the often intimidating and misunderstood world of auditions to help you succeed.
So whether you're just starting out on your acting journey or you're a seasoned pro, join our Actors Audition Club members as we go
Inside the Audition.
Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Audition. Today we got a fantastic episode. This is a special episode. I was a guest host of a live stream show called Entertainment 411 that is brought to you by eBoss Canada. And a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to interview producer Adam Reid. Adam's been an actor, producer, keynote speaker, an MC, and he runs his own company called REIDFramed, where they produce their own content. We had a fantastic chat about what it takes to be a producer, how he got into being a producer, and he gave a ton of valuable advice. Anyone out there who's been interested in, if you want to make the leap from actor into producing, this is a conversation that you gotta listen to, or you gotta watch it. I had a great time with Adam, so enjoy this episode. Again, it was presented by Entertainment 411 and eBoss Canada, and I was the guest host and got to have a fantastic chat. So enjoy producer Adam Reid. Here we go. Well, hello. Happy Tuesday, Internet. Welcome to Entertainment 411. This is your backstage pass to entertainment. I am your guest host today, not Fareed. This is Joey Freddy Larsen. Fareed, I believe he's taking a sick day today. Hopefully he's feeling good. Shout out to Fareed. I'm sure you're going to miss him. And today you're stuck with me. So I will do my best to fill Fareed's shoes. I'm a size 13. So unless he's got Shaq shoes, I think we'll be okay. This episode is very special. This is an episode called 10 Questions, where we have a solo guest. For those who have been following along at home, you know that every week this is your backstage pass to entertainment. We have panels with casting directors, with agents, with directors, with producers, with actors, so that you can learn the insider secrets, the success strategies, and carve and blaze your own trail in this industry that we all love. Again, I'm your guest host. This is a really important one. Over the last few weeks, if you have been watching, a lot of the casting directors in talking about meeting new actors, they've been talking about the importance of demo reels, and they've stressed that it is important to see professionally produced work. Yeah, you can show a class or like a self-tape, but really you want to be showing polished work. And one of the things that our guest company, his company, does is help produce short films that you can be a part of to build your own demo reel. So our guest today, let's get into it. He is an actor turned producer. He's also known as an award-winning MC and keynote speaker. He's the owner of REIDFramed Studios, which consistently casts short films. You see his casting calls on eBoss and Casting Workbook, always looking for actor members in the Ottawa, Montreal, Toronto, Hamilton area. These are one-day shoots, and it's a great opportunity for you to add some footage to your demo reel, or just maybe hop on board a production and play a character or a role that maybe you don't typically get through your agent. So I believe before we bring him into the studio, we're going to roll a clip. Evan, roll the clip. Roll the clip. Here it comes.
And to find out that you've been cheating on me with this, watch it, lady.
I don't care where the hell you came from, but in this country, we don't make excuses.
You sold my house.
You're moving into a retirement home. It's all been settled.
Delivering pizza taught me the most valuable lesson I've ever learned.
How could you be so heartless? I gave you the best years of my life.
I want a divorce.
All the love you seem to have for me turned to bitterness.
She's here for the interview.
Thanks for the tip, Tony. Bye.
And that was just the beginning. This is REIDFramed Studios.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome actor, producer, and award-winning MC and keynote speaker and co-founder of REIDFramed Studios. It is Adam Reid.
How you doing? Good to see you. That was a good intro. I got to give it to you. That was well done. That was well done.
We're not messing around here. This is on the internet live.
Yeah, it feels so good. You know, it feels so good to look at that reel and see how far we've come. And so many of the actors we've worked with over the last 16 months. That was great. I haven't seen that little snippet for a while, but definitely a long time coming, and great to see so many faces that have continuously worked with us and have grown as well as actors. So just super great to be here. A big thank you to the entire team. And I'm really looking forward to a great chat. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be amazing. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever met. I believe I've seen your casting notices. So we get to jam out, hang out here. You, me, and Biggie and Tupac in the back.
Like that. Yeah. Those are my two favorite. Hard to beat. I'll debate anybody any day over that.
Yeah. It was all a dream. And what do I want to say? To our viewers at home, this is live and interactive. So depending on whether you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, X, or YouTube, your comments and questions, we can see them. We can bring them up onto screen. So if you know Adam and you want to give him a shout out, or you got a question for a producer throughout the episode, throw them up. And towards the end of the episode, we'll maybe have a little interaction and share some of those. We've got 10 questions for you, Mr. Reid. Are you ready for these 10 questions?
I am more than ready. Let's get to it. There's so much to cover. I don't know how we're going to do this, but
actually, Before the 10 questions, I want to say I love a demo reel that's got some pizza in it. I'm like, ooh, I wish I had that roll.
I made the call to have that slice, that little slice of footage in there. So no pun intended, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's every actor's dream to get to take 25 bites of a pizza on 25 takes, right?
There you go.
And I love the dramatic, I want a divorce.
Yeah. It's there's drama. There's drama in our shorts. There's a lot of drama. It's just such a great platform. I'm so proud of it. I know we'll have a chance to talk a little bit about it after, but it's great to see all those moments come together.
We'll get to that. I couldn't ignore the pizza comment. So first question, it's a bit of a loaded question, but can you share your journey to becoming a producer?
Yeah, great question. So I was an actor for 15 years, studied in theater school at the Montreal School of Performing Arts. Big shout out to Joseph Mall, Dale Hayes, and the whole crew at MSOPA. Any actor in Montreal, for the big part, has either gone to Dawson or has gone to Montreal School of Performing Arts. As an actor, I had a great career by my standards. I did relatively well. Had a chance of working for 15 years in the business. And as I was sort of climbing the size of roles, and as I was trying to inch towards a lead, I couldn't help myself but to look at everything that was being done wrong on sets. And I was actually more focused on seeing that, some of the things that were happening on set than I was actually focused on the line delivery and the performance and the art that went behind acting. And that's where I think I started realizing there's something in me that really says that production is for me. I was really able to take a stand back and look at how things were operating. And I would say in my mind, that is off. That is a waste of money. That shouldn't be there. That attitude shouldn't be permissible. And all of this finally sort of just ate away at me for many, many years until I decided during the pandemic I was given a great opportunity during the pandemic. So all the live events had come to a halt because of the pandemic, because of COVID. So I had to shift really quickly. And I always had production. I was always involved in production in one way or another, through friends or as a consultant or as a line producer, et cetera. And I was called up by a major motivational platform, great people that do great work around the world. And they were looking for someone as head of production for their new vertical for originals. And it felt to me like a really good time for me to make that dive. Had a great 2-year stint with them, or 18 months with them. And after that was done, I sort of realized that I wanted to build something on my own from the ground up. And it's been magical ever since. And production it's in my blood. It's in my heart. I never quite understood. I said something to somebody recently and said, I never unlocked the lead role. I was never able to get that lead role. And I worked so hard. When I tell you I worked hard, I worked hard. I put in my blood and sweat into this business, and I was just never able to land the lead role. A lot of guest star, a lot of large principal recurring, both in English and French, TV series, episodic, hosting, but that lead career altering role, I wasn't able to get. And looking back now in hindsight, it was a big disappointment when I was in it, but a real big blessing now that I'm in it. As a producer, because I understand so many different facets of production on the artistic side, whether it's having an eye for talent, whether it's knowing what a great self-tape is, knowing what great writing is, knowing what waste is, and cutting out the fat and working with the right people, building sets with no attitudes and really collaborative environments of just this great set that people want to work on. So all of those, mini failures, if you will, or letdowns I had as an actor, I was able to channel as a producer, and I think it's yielded quite well.
Amazing. First of all, kudos to you for taking matters into your own hands. Any actors out there, I think this day and age in 2024, everyone should be an actor/producer, especially since in the palm of your hand, you have this state-of-the-art camera and you have global distribution on the internet. So you can sit back and wait for an email from your agent or wait for someone to cast you in their project, or you can go make things happen, which is what producers do. And you mentioned that big platform. That was Goalcast, yeah?
That was, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on your resume, which is a massive platform, inspirational videos, millions and millions, probably billions of views. So that I'm sure that was a huge opportunity where you learned a ton. And for any of our viewers, if you're wondering, what does a producer do? How does that work? Maybe you've thought of getting into that field, but you're not sure what it entails. Adam and his studio, RF Studios, REIDFramed Studios, they're giving a massive opportunity to one of our viewers. We're going to have a contest where you can win a day to shadow RF Studios on one of their productions in either Ottawa or Montreal, or maybe a combo of both. And the way that you can win that is at any point during the broadcast, you comment Shadow RF. Evan, you want to bring up the ticker? Shadow RF Studios. Any point you enter that hashtag Shadow RF Studios, that's going to automatically log you into the contest. At the end, we'll do a random giveaway through our random generator. And do you want to tell us a little bit about what that day would entail to the winner?
Yeah, great. Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
I've said on multiple occasions to people around me and people who work in this industry that I always thought that as part of the onboarding process of the union, that there should be a credit that is given to an actor to either shadow a producer or a casting director, to really understand the intricacies and how many moving parts go into production. And I really do think that when actors are given the opportunity to understand the realities of production, first of all, they would take things less personally. I could guarantee you that much. And second of all, you understand just how many stakeholders and how many people are making decisions and how it has to go through a channel and a pipeline of collaborative agreement before an actor is actually cast for a project. So the idea of shadowing RF Studios would really be about shadowing me for a full day to really understand what goes into being a producer, what goes into casting, how we cast, what I look for, what our team lead phone calls look like, how I check in with the people on my team, and really just give a better understanding of what goes on beyond, behind the scenes, which hopefully will allow actors to just sort of relax a little bit, put their best performance forward and do the small things right, which is, of course, the right self-tape, the right lighting, the right energy, the right slate, the right follow-ups, the right business approach. And then they can really hone in on their skill and then sort of let all of that go and out of their control. So I'm really excited to be able to put this up. It's been something I've always wanted to do, to be able to give back. So, they'll spend a great day with me. I'll probably take them out for lunch as well and sort of learn a little bit about them and their aspirations. And I think it's going to be a great day for them to hang out on set and see what I do every day. That I'm very, very blessed to be able to do this. So it's going to be a great day, a lot of fun. So make sure you hashtag Shadow RF Studios to be eligible.
Yes, that's very generous. You had me at lunch. If I could enter, I would be, just for the lunch. We got some people already posting here. We got there's Sherry Levesque. We got Cal Prashad. We got Ian in there. So keep those coming. Hashtag Shadow RF Studios. Also, throughout the broadcast, if you have questions for Adam, you can fire those in. That's a huge opportunity to get to spend the day behind the scenes. I don't really know how, aside from landing a job and as a producer's assistant or a PA, I don't know how you would get that opportunity other than winning it here on Entertainment 411. So great work. You've made a great life decision, viewers at home, by tuning in, and just might score you a free lunch with Adam Reid. Now, second question. You ready for question number 2?
Ready and ready to go.
All right, let's keep them coming. Can you share a project that you're most proud of and tell us why?
Yeah, I mean, I think people know that REIDFramed Studios is really the one. REIDFramed Studios is a vision that my partner, who's the co-founder of the platform, Elio Costello, they say you always need somebody to be crazy and, this visionary, like a Steve Jobs kind of guy. And then you have a guy that actually executes. Elio was the big dreamer. Elio was the one that had the big vision. And I was the one that had the know-how and the methodical approach and the pipeline and the structure and all that fancy jargon. But we had a goal. We had a dream of wanting to make content that mattered. There are 19,000 ways of going viral on social media, and 18,900 of them are usually with shock treatment or shock value or social experiments, or really shocking to the point of just not being able to not watch the video in question. So that's not the angle we wanted to go down. I wanted to motivate. I wanted to inspire. And I'm going to share something very personal with you, which I don't think many people know, even those who have worked with us on the platform. But I was very much on the fence with regards to starting this. I was very much on the fence about actually executing a project of this size and really going for it all in. And it was the passing of my very good friend who I had known for 27 years that really shook me to my core. Mental health is no joke. It is a serious issue. And when I went through that, Louis, I think, really pushed me to that final push to say, I never want this to happen to another friend again. I never want to have this happen to anybody else that I know. I don't care how much we disagree or how we don't like each other. I don't want anybody to ever lose their best friend. And if this platform can push people to be better and see a different side to things, and that there's justice in the world that we create, then so be it. So I think Louis' passing was really what sort of nudged me to go all in. And looking back at it now, 16 months in, we've produced over 200 short films. We've had over 500 actors come through our doors. I'm very, very proud of the team. I'm proud of the people who work with us. I'm proud of the collaborative nature of all the actors, the talent agents, and everybody who support us from the ground up. We're not out of the woods. We're still fighting for our survival, but we are trending in a really good position and in a good way. So I'm really excited about what the next couple of years will have in store for us. And genuinely, there's a part of me as an actor that really believes that Canada is extremely talented, and that we have incredible talent. And it is time to put that talent in the forefront in whatever way I can, even though it's a very small project, but at least give the opportunity for someone to act that's Montreal or Ottawa based or Toronto based, that really just wants to act and make a difference with a worldwide audience. So I'm really, really proud of the project. It's changing lives around the planet. One of the things that we see is that when I'll give you an example of a power of attorney story where two siblings are arguing over a family estate in a short film. I can't tell you how many private messages I get from the audience that says, because of your film, our family had a family meeting to go through the estate and our wills with our parents, because we never want that to happen to us. So thank you so much for shedding light on, elderly abuse or power of attorney abuse or financial abuse or all of these hot button topics that are really, really relatable. So Elio and I have worked really hard to build something that's quite special. I think we're in the right direction, but the real big pulse is the people who are watching this content, who are telling us that it's changing their lives and that it's really entertaining them, and it really gives them a nice little slice of entertainment every couple of days. So we're very, very proud of what we've been able to accomplish and the impact we've been able to make in Louis' name as well. And I'm sure Louis would be really proud.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Why don't we raise one up to Louis here?
Yeah. I'm going to take my little water bottle there. Big Lou.
Big Lou. Yes. And kudos to you for letting something that is tragic and heartbreaking and can sometimes derail people forever. And you've somehow found a way to spin it into a positive, and his legacy lives on in that project. I also love what you said about the importance of stories. It's important for us as actors. And sometimes I've fallen into this where I'm like, oh, we're just playing make believe. And you can sometimes be dismissive of what we're doing. Oh, we're just being kids and fooling around. But people need these stories. The world needs these stories. Mm-hmm. You never know what changes someone's life. As Hamlet said, the job of actors and of art really is to hold a mirror up to ourselves and up to nature. And what's the line? Show virtue her own image, scorn her own image, and virtue her nature. So it's important. What we do is important, and those stories do make a difference. What advice would you give to aspiring producers? So we've got people who are actors, and maybe they want to create their own project. Maybe they want to graduate from acting into producing. What can you share with them?
Yeah. So the first step, or the first piece of advice that I would give aspiring producers or actors who want to become producers is understand that there is a difference between the movie business and the business of movies. And that is a big one, because one is artistic and one is a very business-minded approach. And you really have to be able to disconnect from either of them, depending on which one that you want to focus on. So I think understanding how the business works. Now, as actors, a lot of actors have a major issue with the business side of things, whether it's in the way that they present themselves, whether it's networking, whether it's packaging, whether it's marketing, whether it's awareness, whether it's the way they carry themselves. There's a lot of issues when it comes to the business side of acting. So I would say that this is really geared for someone who is already that hustler, that grinder, trying to find their way in any way possible. And when you have that kind of hunger, I think that's going to transcend very well as being a producer. So that would be the first thing, just on a very global level. But two really big areas, a couple actual areas to focus on is, first of all, build really strong relationships. Networking is massive as a producer. And I'm talking relationships with directors, writers, actors, talent directors, casting directors, agency, executives. Trust and mutual respect can open up doors that they can't even imagine and create opportunities that might not be available to actors otherwise. So, an example of that is Shonda Rhimes. I don't know if you know Shonda Rhimes. She's a creator of Grey's Anatomy and Scandal. And she's really well known for having strong relationships with her casting crew. I mean, they love her. They are truly, we hear about these casting crews being families. She is on a whole other level with regards to fostering a super collaborative and respectful working environment. And because of that, she's been able to produce some really good quality, really high value quality content and attract top tier talent to her projects. So her network, her energy, and her relationships, I think, has been instrumental in the success that she's had on her shows. And also one of the reasons she's had so much longevity. So I model myself very much around that and about building strong relationships and being honest and authentic and just a really, really good person and an honest one to be able to foster those great relationships. The second I would say is sort of develop a keen eye for quality content. So you really got to know story. You really have to know what makes a compelling story and what's going to resonate with audiences. So I'm not talking about just finding great scripts, but also recognizing the potential in raw and unpolished ideas. That's a very big difference. It's not just saying, hand me a script that's finished and let me get sort of enlightened by it or excited by it. It's seeing something or seizing something that you're like, that would make for a great story, and being able to seize on that. I think of Gail Ann Hurd, who produced The Walking Dead and saw potential in Robert Kirkman's comedic series or long series. She saw that she had an ability to recognize the story's potential way before anybody else. And then sort of jumped on that, produced it, and became one of the most successful TV shows in history. So keeping an eye on quality content and having an eye on what's coming next, I think, is massive. And last but not least, I think this goes without saying, you got to be resourceful. You have to be adaptable. You just have to be able to switch on the fly, make changes on the fly, manage budgets effectively, finding creative solutions, and really having an ability to put out fires. So in your day-to-day life, if you are putting out fires constantly, production is for you, because it definitely helps, because there will always be problems in production. There will always be issues that you have to be dealing with. And you really have to know exactly where the problem is with, hole in the boat analogy. So you got one there, you're sort of moving that one, and that one's gushing a little bit more. So you got to sort of focus. So being adaptable, being resourceful, and making the most of what you have access to, I think, is key. Beautiful. Adam is spitting fire here. These nuggets, make sure you're taking notes at home or having your AI device record this. We got the audience loving it here. So I want to pop in here. We got Win. First of all, what a good name. Win Gurry. The stories are rich of life as lessons and uplifting. Sherry or Paul Petra here says, thank you for being genuine. Jonathan got in there with a hashtag Shadow RF Studios. Remember, if you comment hashtag Shadow RF Studios, you can win a chance to shadow Adam and his team on one of their shoots. I wanted to just allude to the second comment that you put out about being genuine. There is a changing of the guard And I really genuinely feel that. I feel that from an instinct standpoint. And I think that a lot of what has gone on with regards to executive production is changing. And it's changing really rapidly. And what I mean by that is it's a choice to be a difficult person to work with. It is a choice to be somebody full of ego or somebody that is above everybody else. It is a choice. And one of the things that I've instilled in the team, and Elio has instilled in the team, is that we really are working in a collaborative space, and it doesn't take anything to be genuine. It really doesn't take much effort. And when you're true and you're honest and you're respectful and you're a person of your word, we need more of that in this industry. We need people that hold to their word, that are really good people, that want to see and elevate others around them. And I'm really excited to be part of, hopefully, that slow changing of the guard where the executive producer is not necessarily the big guy in the office that everybody's afraid of when he walks onto set or doesn't sort of want to talk to that person. It's somebody that has a genuine connection with everybody that he works with and everybody that he cross paths with and says thank you and is appreciative and works collaboratively. So that's a big, big part of my DNA and big part of my journey that I promise to honor all the way to the top and make sure that I never forget where I come from. And as an actor, I'll always be pro-actor first, and I'll always be genuine, always be down to earth, and make sure that our actors are really well taken care of.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I love what you said about networking. It's obviously a people business. You got to know your stuff first. I think in every business, it's first what you know, but then immediately right after that, it's who you know. If you don't know your stuff and you're just trying to network as an actor, but you don't have the craft, then you're just begging someone to expose you as an amateur. But do the craft first, build your network. We've all been on sets that were incredible, and some of us have been on sets that were maybe erring towards toxic, and it just makes such a huge difference. I've had directors or showrunners who are just so positive. They're half cheerleader, but they're also really professional. They get the best out of people. And then sometimes you've had sets where it's egos clashing, it's power struggles, and just everyone is walking on eggshells, and you just can't get your best work that way. So
yeah, we've had people approach us recently that are working for different platforms, and they knew right away on the orientation call. They said, "You guys have your company culture, and this is really refreshing." And this is something that I'm willing to work long term for, because being respected, being appreciated, being valued is incredibly important and often overlooked. So it really is a matter of building a great set that's conducive to storytelling. I was on set 3 days ago, and we've made some changes in terms of how we're structuring our sets and how and who's doing what on set. And I just took a step back and really looked at this set and the way it was operating effortlessly. And there really isn't anything better than a great set. There really isn't. I mean, it really is the best place on the planet when you are a performer, when everybody's performing and there's a pin drop and you make your performance and the camera's rolling after you're done your last line. And there's a moment there, and then the camera stops, so we call cut, and everybody's sort of giving a round of applause to the performer. And it's like, holy, like that was good. I mean, there was something there, and everybody's providing ideas, and everybody's sort of in this together, working as a unit, as one big dance. It truly is remarkable. It's a great place, but it only takes a few to sour that experience and really make it unpleasant for everybody to be on set. And especially with the long days that we have, that's just absolute torture. And as far as I'm concerned, I will never, ever let that happen on my sets. I'm very big on that. And I really do believe that people who are happy, who are comfortable, will always produce greater work and better products. So being genuine is really important.
Imagine that, folks. Being a good human being pays off, huh?
Right.
Before we get into question 4, I think this is going to be like question 3.5. Question 4 deals with casting, but I want to just ask you about working with agents here. You're known in the industry of having great relationships with agents. How important are those relationships, and what do you look for in a great ally on your productions when you do find an agent that's repping great talent? How do you guys work together?
Yeah. So vision. I'm looking for someone with vision because when you are building a startup, you need to be working with somebody who has the vision and long-term and is also thinking outside the box. So, one of the things that we've been able to do really well is foster really good relationships with the agents that we work with. And the agents have been extremely supportive with us. There's quite a few that have started with us. I think of Lisa Muser out of Ottawa. I think of Maria Morella Bellini Town. I think of AMTI, Sabrina Asbury. The list just goes on and on and on. Constantine Cortidis, Tanya Reisler. It just goes on and on. And we've got some really good people behind us, and they really get this industry. They really understand the importance and the opportunity that REIDFramed Studios offers to up-and-coming actors and even seasoned actors. We can get into that a little bit later. But I'm always looking for someone who has vision. I'm looking for someone who has a collaborative spirit. I am looking for someone that has deferred gratification. Because that is going to be a big one, because it's not going to be now, because we're, of course, in the early stages of what we're building. But one of the things I have said to the people that we've been loyal to, and I've been a man of my word on this, is I said, whoever is with us out of the gate, I will not forget. I will be working with those casting directors for a very, very long time, but I will not forget those that were there to support us, the same way that I will not forget those potentially that sort of overlooked us because of where we are. And suddenly, as these projects start popping up and we start diversifying and the projects get a little bit bigger and there's more at stake, I can envision a time where more and more people will come to us. The ones who are really loyal, the ones who have been with us since the start, are the ones that we're going to continue being loyal with too. I think loyalty is a big thing in this business. It's almost non-existent because everybody's thinking about themselves. But I really want to foster an environment of loyalty. I think through our actions of the studio, we've been able to showcase that we are loyal. We get people back on an ongoing basis. And I'm just looking for a great partner, somebody that if I'm in Ottawa, I can call up and say, let's go for coffee. If I'm in Toronto, I can meet up with them and have a bite to eat, talk about their roster, learn about what they're doing, learn about their aspirations, ring in some favors, work collaboratively. And on many occasions, we work collaboratively with agents that really understand the space. And I would definitely say that the most important thing is just someone who really sees long-term, because this is going to be a long-term build and we need everybody to be aligned on that so that we can continue to grow and also get their talent to work. And the smart ones and the really, really sharp ones get it, and they get how powerful this platform can be for their talent. And they are, of course, reaping the benefit of that, of having a roster that has been instantly elevated with the quality of production that we're providing them in exchange for their time on our sets and the honorariums that we pay to actors. So it's a win-win, it's collaborative. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to meet and work with brand new talent agents. So anybody who's never submitted to us, maybe because they didn't know who we were or what we were doing, super open to collaborate with you, super open to get your talent on set. And I'm looking forward to building those relationships.
So for those taking notes at home, loyalty. I love what you said about loyalty. And we need to remember that when we're building relationships is don't just build relationships with the person at the top because you think they have the power. That means you go to a casting house, the casting assistant, the PA, because casting assistants become casting directors, PAs become ADs, become directors, become executive producers. So and that's just not a move, a strategic move. That's just being a good human being, is treating everyone, no matter whether they're above or below the line on the call sheet, treating everyone as a human being.
Yeah, and Joey, people will sniff that out.
Right.
When you lack the authenticity, people will sniff it out. They'll know, they'll see you coming from a mile away. So why roll the dice? Just be a good human being. If somebody helps you, you help them back. If you tell that person, I want to work with you a little bit more, and they'll say, I want to work with you a little bit more, we work in a great collaborative environment, let's build together. Let's just see the long term. Let's work collaboratively. Let's figure this all out. And it really doesn't take much to be able to build that loyalty other than just being a good person and being a person of your word. So I think it's extremely important.
And delayed gratification. And for those that know, that means you don't eat the first marshmallow. You wait for the second marshmallow and you'll be successful. If you know, you know. If you don't.
I was thinking more of a gym analogy, but the marshmallow one will work just fine. I get it as well. I get it as well.
You've heard that study, right? That's a kid study that they do where they give a kid a marshmallow and they say, like, if you wait, we'll come back and give you a second one. And then they track those people 20 years later, and everyone who waited for the second marshmallow by their standards was more successful in life.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. No, I've never heard of that. That's very,
It's a famous psychology study where the kid that just is like, fuck it all, I'm just going to eat the first marshmallow. Those ones, they don't go on to do too much. Next question. You talked a lot about agents, specifically for actors. When you're casting talent, can you share some qualities that you look for? I know it's a nebulous thing. Sometimes you just know, like when you see it, you know they're the one. But what are some common traits that you see in people that you want to cast in your projects?
So before I answer that question, I'm just going to put out a few things here to make sure we're on the same page. We're going to work under the assumption that the quality of the tape is great, that it is not backlit. We're seeing your eyes. We're seeing you perform. The sound is great. The quality is great. Your slate is full of energy and willingness to want to be part of the project. So I just want to make sure that all the technical side of a great self-tape needs to be in place. That's the first thing. If I don't have great technical value of your self-tape, it's going to be really hard for me to be able to see past that and really see your performance shine. One of the interesting things that I want to share with actors out there is the power of a slate. It's often overlooked, and it's often looked at as something that's like, oh, I got a slate here. Hi, my name's Adam. I'm 28. I'm out of Montreal. Side profile. I can tell you, and this is just for me personally. I know not all casting directors will look at this, but when somebody comes in with a great smile, that's not fake. That is a genuinely great smile with great energy and says, hi, my name's Adam. I'm really excited to be auditioning for you for the role of Joey. I'm 6'4". I am based out of Montreal. I'm available on the dates of the shoots. And thank you so much for taking the time to take a look at my tape. Side profile, big smile, great lighting. You've got something there. You've attracted my ability to want to watch. You made it very inviting for me to watch it. Now, obviously, the slate's not going to be what will decide if you are the person that we're going to choose or not. But I just wanted to put that out there because it really is from the first moment I see you to the moment I have you on set. And that really is the first time that I get to see you other than your performance. So that being said, on the technical side and the first impression side, I think there's three things. First is authenticity. Does the actor genuinely connect with the character? And do they bring a different performance that feels real and relatable? And I'm always looking for someone who's bold. One of the things that I think, looking back now, having cast these 200 short films, I think I fell into the trap of trying to give the casting directors what they wanted versus what I actually wanted to do. And that's what I'm doing on the platform now. From time to time, the team calls me and says, Adam, we'd like to have you in this film and want you to play the bad guy. And then I get to go back to my roots as an actor and really take some bold risks, and really resonates well with the audience. And they really dislike me in these roles. And that's because I'm being bold. I'm no longer afraid of how I will be perceived by the casting director. And I think being bold in your audition is really, really important. And understanding that it's not a no or a yes. There's also a not now folder that actors might not know exists. And what I mean by the not now is like, holy shoot, like this guy is a solid performer. He doesn't have the look, the whole 9 yards, the different look, and maybe not the right age range, but this guy is great. I mean, his delivery was like spot on. Man, I wish I could cast this guy. I'm taking Joey and I'm putting him in my not now folder. And believe me when I tell you, casting directors have a not now folder. So the first step to getting the yes is to even get to the not now. So how do you get to the not now? You're bold, you're authentic, and you are versatile, which I think is extremely important. Can the actor adapt to different roles and emotions seamlessly, which would allow them to showcase a certain level of skill and depth in what they're doing? Now, obviously that happens a little bit more in live auditions, which tend to be a little bit on the downside right now. It's more on the self-tape side. But I would love to see two very different options that are both bold, that showcases that range. I'd rather you go way bigger or way lower, but be able to see that range in your performance, to know that you have that capability of arc in your performance versus something that's very similar that you think is what I'm looking for, that will be, chances are, like 65 to 70% of the rest of the self-tapes that I will watch. And last but not least is presence. Do they have that special charisma and confidence and screen presence that really captivates my attention and holds the audience's attention? I think that was what you were talking about before, Joey, about when you know, you know. And when they open up their mouth and start delivering their first line, you're just like this. And you're watching and you're like, man, I didn't see this character this way at all, but I am loving what I'm seeing. So I think presence is really, really important. And all of those are crucial to bringing the story to life on screen. All three of those equally. I can't pick one in particular because all of them really matter equally.
That's great. All of that was so helpful. I love what you said about being bold too. And as an actor myself, I also coach other actors. And it's just the biggest thing is if that you take all of your power away as an actor. If the thought, what do they want, crosses your mind, you're probably missing the boat. And then you end up in the muddy middle where they see 100 people kind of, sort of, maybe do the exact same thing. And then the few people that take the big swings, they stand out, they make bold moves, they make big choices. Maybe it's not the quote unquote right choice, but production and casting need to see what you can do. It's the easiest thing. I'm sure you know this, Adam. It's way easier for you to say, dial it back, than not know if an actor's got it in them to make those big plays. And then how can you cast them if you haven't seen them make a big move in an audition? So I just love that. Like, take big swings.
Yeah. And it's funny because this comes with data. So I'm obviously very data driven because we work in the digital space. So we know every single, second and metric that you can imagine. But what I shared with you is backed by data in my own personal journey as an actor and a producer. And what I mean by that is, so I had been out of acting for a year. So it's been roughly about 16 months and I'm focusing on production. Whatever I act in are primarily the movies that we're creating. And to put this to the test, I sort of reached out to my agent. I said, you know what, if anything comes your way, let me know, because I'd really like to audition. And I want to go back in the room again, because I think I've got a little bit more insight now as to what I need to do and how I need to do it. And I was called in for an audition. It was a self-tape for the US out of LA for a brand new series for Amazon Prime for a recurring role. And just the methodology of how I prepared for it mentally was completely different than anything else I had ever done in my past, 14 years as an actor. My sole main purpose on that tape was to completely destabilize the person who was watching that tape. And that was the goal. And I remember specifically saying, I want to work this down to a science. I want to take the biggest bold choices possible. I rallied with some people around me that I trust very well as performers. I broke the script down, did my homework. This is who I am. This is the energy I want to bring to the character. These are the mannerisms. On these lines, I want to look away. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I was put on hold. I was put on hold for that role. Had it not been for the need of an 01, there's a very good chance that I would have been cast in that role. So lesson learned. So the 01 is being worked on right now to make sure that I've got my work visa for the US. But all this to say that the first time I've been back in the casting room and the first time I was back on a tape, I'm more focused on destabilizing and providing something that you'll remember versus actually caring about delivering and locking in the role. And I think that that's going to be massive for me as a talent when I do circle back as an actor, because I'm no longer preoccupied with what you think of my performance. I just genuinely want to lay it down the way I know how to lay it down and then be at peace with what I laid down. And then after that, it's up to you to make the call on if you think this is a fit for your production or not, and own it genuinely. And It's been great. It's been really fun to go back into the casting room and on the tapes and be able to go back to my core and now be taking these risks. Because I can tell you 85% of the tapes that I get or 85% of the material I look at is similar.
Right.
It's all the same. It's all the same delivery, same pacing, same beats, same eye lines. And then that top 15% that is not yelling, that is controlled rage when it is an explosive scene. You're just there watching this person. You're like, this person's going to blow a gasket. And I'm waiting for it. And I'm like this, and I'm watching you, and you've got me. And it doesn't mean you have to raise your voice at all. It's just you making a bold choice about how you want to get those veins going, or clenching of the jaw, or something very slight that catches me. And that's what I think makes the difference between a good and a great actor.
That's fantastic. Such good notes. I love your philosophy 1000%. And so actors, take big swings. Don't be stuck in the middle. Like you said, those 85% that you talked about, they could all be professional. They could do the job. You could cast them, but when you are only casting one person, the middle people aren't going to cut it. Like it's a highly competitive industry where one horse gets the prize. But I also love what you said about how when you don't book it, there's still wins in there. So as long as you know you're making bold choices and you're doing your best so that you can wash your hands of it, take it or leave it. That's what I would do. Then you get those wins in the what do you call it? The maybe later category.
The not now.
The not now. Yeah, we loved it, but not now. And
exactly. Yeah. I was at a fashion show this past Saturday, and I was sitting next to Brian Levy, which I'm sure you know of. Yeah, and Brian was sharing, just how lucky you are when you get an audition. I think it's also putting a little bit more respect as a talent on an audition tape, and not going in with the wrong mentality of this is a cattle call, or they're going to go with their favorites, or it's always going to be the same people. And, really treating it with the respect that it deserves, and the preparation and the methodical approach, and calculating what your choices are going to be. And he's absolutely spot on when he said that. When Brian said it's a really big opportunity, it's almost like you won the lottery to be called into an audition, let alone a callback. But that first, we'd love to see you. We see something in you, and we think there's something there. Man, like, you got to get excited about that. You got to really dial in and not say, I'm going to do this between this task or that task. Like, you got to zone in and make this the best, boldest choice possible for this role, and go in with that hunger to perform and get into that not now before you get into the booked it folder. So I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I think it's also giving a little bit more respect to the audition process, I think will yield for actors.
Yeah. Just to be accepted, to be submitted, to get the opportunity, it is huge. And anyone watching, like, if you've ever booked any role, that's a massive win. Like, there's a million actors out there who are actors, but have never booked anything, or they're aspiring and they just haven't got there. So sometimes we're too hard on ourselves, I think. And I love what you said about, we often talk here about seeing every audition opportunity as a chance to express yourself, as a chance to create your own little mini movie, your own creative piece of art out there, and really seizing that opportunity to express yourself, show your talent, show your bold choices, show your uniqueness, show your creativity. And then you do that, and then it's fun, because the audition in and of itself is something important, rather than the only value is if you book the job. I think that's backwards, or that just sets you up to lose 95% of the time.
Yeah, and it's also accepting the realities too. Right. It's being at peace with the realities of the business you chose to be in. You are in a very competitive, ultra cutthroat industry that requires you to be the best if you want to win. Right. So, and the best is very great, but what I mean by the best is in that moment for that role. So for people to be deflated that there are 100 other people that are going into this audition, or 50 other people, there are 25 people that are on callback, that's not the right mindset. Like, you got to go in there and say, I've got something that they do not have, and I know exactly what I'm going to bring, and that's because it lives in here, and it will be portrayed on screen. And I'm just going to let it roll and own it and be proud of it and create something for a slight slice of time that allows me to perform, which is truly why I got involved in this business in the first place. Once you start lining up in that headspace, once you start aligning and resonating on that frequency, it shows. It shows in your personality. It shows in your tapes. It shows on how you carry yourself. It shows on how you study, how you continue evolving and using setbacks as fuel to propel you forward. So I think actors have a lot of work to do with sort of resetting and understanding the actual setup of what an audition entails and what kind of luxury it is to actually even be auditioned.
Once again, you're getting the snaps here, Adam. You're getting the snaps.
I'll take them all day. I'll take them all day.
Our viewers are loving this. The comments are popping off here. And again, everything you're saying means for an actor is remaining in your personal power. If you do what you've been talking about, you come from such a creatively powerful spot versus a meek, needy, may I use this chair? Do you want me to sit or stand? Do you want me to hold this with my right hand or my left hand? All that garbage that is just repelling.
You know the classic, hi, hey, good to see you. How's everything? Hey, it's so nice to see you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to audition. Really happy to be back. Great to see you all. Oh, hey, good to see you. No questions. I'm good. Ready to rock and roll. Whenever you guys are ready, go ahead and roll that camera and we'll get started. It's like, man, who are you fooling?
Right.
Like, see what you're doing. This is not the art. This is not where the area of focus should be. And I said that before. You smell it. You see it from a mile away that person's not being genuine and believes that they can coerce someone into getting a role just because of their extroverted personality or because of the way that they introduce themselves. Like, this is not that business. It's just providing us something. You know, I heard something really interesting recently saying a casting director is trying to make the best soup possible. And all they're trying to do is find the right ingredients. It's not personal. There's no vendettas. It's really just them saying, I need a sprinkle of that. I need a sprinkle of this. I need a little bit of that. And I definitely need this. And start simmering it to create this delicious soup, which is, of course, the final product. And when you start seeing yourself as that, you start realizing what you need to bring to the table to execute and to be able to land that role versus all of this other stuff that really won't propel you forward long term.
Right. Yeah. Lots of flavors, unique flavors and spices, not just a bunch of table salt.
That's right. That's right.
All right, we've got some words from our sponsors. This has been amazing so far, Adam. Thank you so much. Everyone stick around. We've got more questions with Adam Reid from RF Studios. And so I'm going to share something in the chat here. For the actors watching, you can grab the audition success checklist from Actors Audition Club. It's a proven professional checklist to help you shoot standout auditions so that you can nail the callback and book the role. And I will drop that link in there. You can go to actorsauditionclub.com/checklist. I don't think it may not be hyperlinked in the chat there when I put it there. Maybe I had to add the http:// but you guys can figure it out. actorsauditionclub.com/checklist, and you can download the free audition success checklist. We're back here with Adam Reid. Reminder to those of you who want to enter the contest to win a day shadowing Adam with his team at RF Studios. At any point, drop a comment in there that says #ShadowRFStudios, and you will enter the contest. We'll do the random generated draw for the giveaway at the end of the episode. Back with question 5. What balance do you strike between getting into the mind of a person who wrote the script and balancing that with using your own creative instincts as a producer?
Well, I think if we take a dramatic script, for example, the writer might lay down the groundwork with super intense and emotional scenes. And what I tend to do is to try and immerse myself and sort of feel the rhythm and the emotional beats that they're aiming for first, before even coming to any conclusions. And once I sort of put my finger on that pulse, then I can bring my own experiences, my own life journey to the table and instincts, and to really help the characters come alive. Now, in full transparency, I have a lot of trust in my writers. I believe in a big trust mechanism between the producer and the writer. It's better to wait and find the right writers or the right writer or showrunner than it is to cycle them through and just try and find different people until you find the one that's giving you what you need. When you find the right one, there is unbelievable amount of trust that I have with that person. And from a human level, I need to connect with this person before we even start working together. So I think that's really important. And when I really understand the feeling of where the writer wants to go, then I could start driving the scene and providing my unique touch to it. And balancing those elements keeps the performance fresh. And I think true to the script's nature. So I really dig into a lot of life experiences and instincts. But before I do that, I really want to comprehend where that writer is going, where the showrunner is going, and the emotional beats that they're putting forward. And I think it's extremely crucial. You know, one of the things you said before is that a producer really, and I was talking about this last week, like we've got to be great in everything as a producer. I mean, it really is a hard task because we need to manage money. We need to manage casting. We need to manage distribution. We need to manage the execution on set. We need to manage writing. We need to manage people. And especially when it comes to writing, you also have to have a really good knowledge of what makes a compelling story. And to be honest, for a long time, that wasn't necessarily my forte until I really started taking the time. And I knew that was one of the weakest areas that I had, 4 or 5 years ago. And I started putting in the work of archetypes, of arcs, of catharsis, and really understanding all of the elements that make for a great story so I could spot it the same way that I can call out the fat in a script that is there that doesn't need to be there. There'll be opportunities, and at a very high level, I foresee moments that when the budgets are bigger and the capabilities of doing whatever we want in this film come to the table, the ability to cut out fat that is not driving the narrative will become even more important. What I mean by that is, example, the director might feel that there's a need for a crane shot for a high-speed car chase scene that will last 3 seconds because they really believe that this car coming out of the corner is just going to be everything. It's going to be fantastic. But as a producer, you sort of have to see past that, and you have to sort of say, well, maybe that's that person trying to get that for their reel and trying to produce that or direct that specifically for their reel, for them to leverage, for them to go higher up on bigger productions. So I have to be able to look at the script objectively, cut out the fat that doesn't drive the narrative, but double down on the instincts and the emotional beats that the writer has. So a lot of trust with the writer, I would say, is really, really important. And also getting into the mind of that person before we even work together.
Any storytelling or screenwriting resources that you would share that have helped you that you would want to share with anyone? Like if someone wants to get more into story, where do you feel they would look?
Well, I think archetypes. I think starting with archetypes, I think are huge. The light and dark side of characters, and really understanding archetypes and understanding that everybody has a light and a dark side. And that's really compelling because there's something to explore there. And that ultimately, when we're telling stories of people who have gaps, who are not perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. Everybody sort of has their one side and the other side to them. So I think really starting with archetypes, basic books on how to write a great story or what makes for a great story. You don't even need to know how to write, but to know what a great story is, I think is more important. So yeah, I think there's a lot of resources online. You talk about that thing in your hand, the technology that we have access to. You go to YouTube and you talk about and follow a couple of people online of how they tell their stories and what they think makes for a great story and what pulls at the emotional strings of human beings, and also understanding psychology, I think is really, really important for a producer to understand so that they can really, really keep their writers geared in the right direction, focused on story.
Beautiful. Sherry Levesque in the comments, she's sharing the hero's journey. Joseph Campbell also Save the Cat is a great screenplay book. I forget the author's name, but Save the Cat is a good place to start for story structure. All right. Story by Robert McKee is really good as well. Thank you, Sherry, for throwing that in there. Now, again, reminder, make sure that you have to do the hashtag. It's hashtag Shadow RF Studios. If you write it as words or not as the hashtag, our internet robots will not pick that up as an entry. So you got to do the proper hashtag. question 6 here, and you touched on this when talking about the crane shot idea of, do we really need this crane shot? What are some reasons linked to the amount of time needed to get that perfect shot? Film and television, they're big, long days, they're high budget, and a lot of that is sometimes to get this perfect shot that takes half a day or all day. So you want to share some shot making stories here?
Yeah, I think there's 2 areas that I would definitely permit and tell the team, go the extra mile to get it the right way if needed. Obviously, actor performance is key. So sometimes it takes a stupid amount of takes for actors to deliver their lines and get the right desired emotion. Now, obviously, we're not always fortunate to be able to spend a full day to be able to get what it is that we need, or to shoot one moment in time like they do on the bigger production studios. But I'll always lean on actor performances. You know, a classic example of that is The Shining. Stanley Kubrick had Shelley Duvall redo her scene 127 times to capture the perfect expression of terror and desperation. Now, obviously, being a micro-budget production and working our way towards that, we have to sort of weigh our pros and cons. But I will always say, look, if we need to go over, we'll go over to get the right performances. And I think another thing that is often overlooked is lighting perfection. Achieving the right lighting in a take can be a very meticulous process. It's not just setting up basic lighting and just making sure that it's good. We want it to be great. So each scene's lighting has to be just right to match the feel and the storyline of the movie. Obviously, you think of Blade Runner comes to mind with how much time they spent in lighting and just the focus that they had on lighting to get this dystopic 2049 sort of angle to it, and how important it was to driving the story. And especially on micro budget, when you are starting out, you can really fake it when you have great lighting. You know, you can really do good work when you've got great lighting, because it really does bring a production value that's superior to everybody else that would be working in that space. So find the right gaffer, find the right person you want to work with, and make sure that that person is bringing you, absolute gold. And if it means we need to take a little bit more time to get the lighting just right and take that extra 15 minutes or a half hour in our case, we will gladly do that, because it's going to yield on the story and the storyline and the feel of the movie. So those are probably the 2 areas that take up usually a lot of time to get the shot.
Thank you. Yeah. As an actor myself, I used to own, back in the day before I'd been an actor for a long time, I used to only really notice performance, but now I notice all aspects of the filmmaking. So I'll be watching something, I'll be like, ooh, look at that beautiful frame. Look at how symmetrical it is. Or, oh shit, did you see that rack focus? I love me a good rack focus, man.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
And that's just speaks to the teamwork of, there's a lot of moving parts. It's not just the lead actors. It's not just the director. It's everyone up and down the call sheet has got to do their best to make this thing the best it can be. So take care of people, be a good human being, so that the guy that's lighting isn't walking around begrudging you that he has to work for you. You want him being really into it and nerding out on his light so that shot is lit perfectly and he's excited to do it. Next here is, what do we got here? So obviously all elements of, I just was talking about how many departments there are, how many people, how many moving parts. It's all important. But if you had to spend most of your money on a couple, 2 main production areas, what 2 areas are so important that you would never skimp or you'd never cut when push comes to shove?
Yeah, when push comes to shove, I think you nailed it when you said a great team, a good solid nucleus, a great environment, a great core of people that want to be there, that are passionate, that sometimes might lack in some areas. It might not be the best you can get on the market, but just have the right energy and right willingness to get what's needed on this production. So I think a great nucleus is definitely where I would want to invest my money out of the 2 areas. And that goes across the board, by the way, from, top of the food chain, all the way down to everybody that's working. Everybody plays a role. And I really believe that when you have a great set with great energy, all the way down to the PA, the PA, we vet our PAs like really hard, because if the PA is there to pay their rent and sort of show up on set and sort of on their phone from time to time, like you're missing the point, you're missing this mission that we're on, and we're not aligned on our values. But when you have that smile, when you pick up an actor from a metro or you're driving them back after a shoot, and you're so polite and you're well-spoken and you just treat everybody with respect and you're on your game and you're willing to go above and beyond, all of that matters. When you are working in an environment where we haven't quite hit that big next level yet, well, what do people want? People want to just be happy and be in a great place on set. So if we cannot afford the big lights and the big studios yet, we can afford to have a great set. We can afford to have great people that will make that experience just really pleasurable for everybody who's on set. And the second, and this is not necessarily in order because they're both very important, is the showrunner. It's the person at the top of the food chain on the writing. We hear this all the time. The story is what drives everything. And especially in our space, we need great stories. We need people who tell great stories. And one of the things you hear this often, and I know you've probably heard, story's everything and story first. But what I've noticed is that with time and with comfort and with a little bit of padding, the older generation of producers sort of take a little bit of the leeway and sort of turn their eye a little bit on risk taking and on being avant-gardiste, because they've got their pipeline going and they've got their buyers and they've got their distributors, and regardless what they're producing, they've got somebody that just needs the content and will buy it out, and it's profitable business for them, and then it's sort of a factory of production. So one of the things that I really want to focus in is always being story driven in everything that we do, whether it's on short form digital narrative, whether it's in feature, whether it's in episodic. I really want to invest in story. I really believe that when you've got great minds that are telling stories that matter, that it will resonate on screen. So showrunner and definitely a solid, good nucleus would be the two areas that I'd invest in.
Amazing. Story. Yeah,
can't say it enough.
If your story sucks, your movie's going to suck. Doesn't matter how good the crew is or how good the actors are. Now, for those people who are aspiring to be producers, can you share, how does a producer market themselves in the film industry when you are looking for your next project?
Yeah, so I think social, and whether you like it or not, social media is big. And social media is huge to showcase your previous work, network with industry professionals, create engaging content, behind the scenes footage of a short film or any project that you're working on to demonstrate your skills, your ability, your style, I think is very important. LinkedIn is obviously a great platform to be on because I think it's a little bit more mature with regards to production. I think the gatekeepers and the decision makers are very often more on LinkedIn than it would be on all the other platforms. I think on the other platforms would be more of awareness versus LinkedIn would really be to network and really build a great nucleus and environment of people that you can count on and a community of people that you can lean on as well. And I think the second thing would be invest in you, invest in relationships, take time to always want to meet new people, do your research, understand who the gatekeepers are, ring in some favors, play the back door, and treat this like a business. There's a big difference, as I said before, between the movie business and the business of movies. And the sooner a producer or aspiring producer learns, the quicker they'll be successful in this industry, because it really is part of that growth process. There will be out-of-pocket spends to attend a festival or attend a gathering or attend a conference or attend a distributor conference, but you got to do it. You got to get out there. You have to be seen. You have to be bold, but you have to do it while staying authentic, genuine, and confident in your capabilities. So investing in you, I think, is a really, really big one. And that ultimately, I think, will open up doors and have you meet the right people.
More snaps, Adam. You're getting more snaps. We're going to take a quick promo break. Our host, Fareed, is in an upcoming show that I believe is either out now or coming out soon called Day Players, and we're going to roll a little promo for that. Roll the clip.
You are a born protagonist. Look at you. You're a failed professional.
Okay, I wouldn't say failed.
You're finding bastion of hope in a rundown old school.
I mean, it's not that bad.
It just happens to be shared by the only woman who ever broke your heart.
What did you do?
Shh. Just watch.
I've got a lot of auditions lined up. Like, so many auditions.
You can imagine, I could relate to having so many bookings. Like, it's like a library, just books everywhere.
That's right. You're looking at the host of Canada's Next Great Handyman.
I nailed my audition, bro. They said they'd call me.
Guys, I'm going to be the host of Canada's Next Great Handyman. You are looking at the host of
Okay, I'm feeling a little bit of hostility from you right now.
Oh, please mansplain it to me so I can understand it better.
Clearly you don't know what mansplaining is. Let me break it down for you.
He's dead.
Which is the purest, greatest form of theater? Improvisation.
Told you I would eat you. I told you I would.
Woo! Let's go!
I cannot watch this anymore. This is agony.
There you have it. Check out Day Players. Exciting news for Fareed, and we saw Patrick McKenna in there. Congrats to the whole cast and crew for that coming out. Question number 9, Adam, we're going to start bringing this ship back into port. What would you like to see the Canadian film and TV industry do differently in order to grow?
Wow, where do I begin?
There was that exhale. That was, you said it all right there.
How much time do we have? So there's a few things. First things first, we need to start forming international partnerships. So I want people who are watching this to picture this for a second. I want you to picture Canadian filmmakers teaming up with our counterparts in France or the UK, who are, have a great production pipeline, who do great work. And the partnership between Canada and these international countries bring fresh ideas to the table, more resources, wider distribution networks. And I really think that by cozying up to international collaborators, not only do we start boosting production quality, but also puts Canadian stories on the global stage. And I think we need more of that, not just in the film space, but just in all capacities. And who knows? I mean, maybe the next big hit comes out of Canada, or a partnership between Canada and the UK, or Canada and French, or Canada and France. So we need to be forming and leaning more on international partnerships. And I don't mean showcasing Canada at an international gathering to talk about why they should be coming to Montreal to shoot. I'm talking about an international partnership. We are working together to lean on both resources and create some fresh ideas. And obviously this ties in with boosting global visibility. So we need to get more financial support, logistical support to help promote films and content and international events. There has to be a mechanism for somebody in Canada that has a great story that might not have the resources, but can be supported by the government or supported by funds to be able to take that story and have them do that the film festival circuit. Because very often a lot of great stories get left behind because they just don't have the money to do it. So by waving our Canadian flag really high at these festivals, I think we attract bigger players. I'm talking buyers, distributors, you name it. And ultimately, I think it's going to help grow our industry and the stories, and also help us as Canadians reach a global audience. So we really need to get out there and start showcasing the power of Canadian talent and Canadian filmmaking.
Yeah, it's a global market. It's a global village. Why not? So I had the opportunity a few years ago to work on a Canadian-Iranian production that was like mind-blowing, to work with people who, like, literally the director spoke Farsi and not English. So it was like translated. I would listen to him speak Farsi. Then I would look at the AD, translate it. I would say something back to him. And it was like this super cool. It was one of the most coolest experiences in my life, because I'm creating this thing with someone who I don't even speak their language, yet here we are making this art. It was
speaking the language of film, right? Speaking the language of art. So I think there's something beautiful in that, and I'm sure it's reciprocal. I'm sure that they looked at you and the team and said, wow, like the Canadians, I mean, they know what they're doing. These guys are sharp. They're just like us, or if anything, might even be better regardless. That's the collaboration that we need. Those are the partnerships that we need to start getting us out there more and stop being in a space of potentially being in the shadow of the Americans or shadow of the US content, and really start putting Canadian content on the forefront internationally.
Love it. We all have mentors. People who give us hope, inspiration, drive to keep going in this industry. Who are people that have been your mentors, and how have they been that to you?
So there's one person in particular. So Alexander Bain is a producer, friend of mine who I've known for many, many years. He had cast me as the host of his show on the W Network. It was a show called What's Cooking at the time. Did a bunch of seasons with him. And not only did we get to work together, but I got to see the behind the scenes of his day to day. And we were able to really talk through production from start to finish. And Alex embodied everything that I shared with you tonight. He embodied everything about your reputation precedes you, everything about treating people with respect, giving them their fair value, taking care of the people that you work with. It's a choice to have an ego. It's a choice to be difficult. It's a choice to be, to feel as if you're above everybody else, or you could be a team player. You can be collaborative. And I think all of that now as a producer has really stemmed from my time with Alex. And we still talk to each other from time to time. And of course, he's got 19,000 different projects on the go. And I'm always leaning to him to say, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm working on. And he was always very, very encouraging. And I think he always knew that I was going to sort of graduate from being a talent to becoming a producer, because we embody a lot of those same values. And I think genuinely, he's also one of the first people that made me believe that, executive producers are not those, like, it's not always those guys. I mean, you've got really good people who have good hearts, who are loyal, who are authentic, who are genuine, that yes, have a lot of pressure, and yes, have deliverables, and yes, want to make things work and are, very high level of standards. That's professionally, but on a human level can really be the person that after the shoot is done, many times we go out for supper, or that he would organize, these places that we'd have to pop into in every city that we would be traveling to. So it's been great to have him by my side, and also be able to lean on him as a resource. But he's really, really sharp and really embodies everything that I spoke about tonight. And I push people who are going to go into this business to uphold those same values and uphold those same qualities of just being a good person and wanting to do great work and work on projects that matter and that impact the world around us. So he's definitely top of list and top of mind when I think about that. I mean, of course, there's been other people that have always been there to help out whenever I hit a roadblock or didn't know sort of where to go. And I leaned on expertise of many different people to keep us going. But in terms of a mentor and somebody that I can speak to openly and transparently about some of the fears that I had or some of the insecurities that I had, he's always been there to support me. And his work is phenomenal. He's such a grinder. He's a multitasker, the ultimate, juggler of many things. Not a master, a jack of all trades, but a master of all. Right. Really is great at what he does, and I'm so fortunate to still have him with me and in my circle. And I'm sure he'll be very instrumental in the next steps that I'll be taking as a producer.
Cool. Well, speaking of being influential, thank you so much for being here today. You've been incredibly generous with your time. You've been spitting fire. I'm sure all of our actors and industry people watching have gleaned all kinds of nuggets of wisdom here. So thank you. It's your professionalism shows through, your authenticity, you're genuine, and also that you're very heart-centered as well. And you want to find some humanity in this. It's not just about the dollar bills, although those dollar bills are real nice, but it's nicer when they're attached to some humanity. So amazing. Any final thoughts that you want to share with anyone here that you haven't, or maybe where's the best place for people to connect to you?
Yeah, so facebook.com/REIDFramed, REIDFramed. That's the platform that we publish the majority of our content. People could find us there. People could find us on our casting workbook breakdowns. I encourage talent agents, casting directors, anybody that has not worked with us to reach out. We are more than willing to welcome your talent to our shoots. I do want to give a quick little shout out to eBoss and to you for the opportunity of being able to come on here and just share a little bit of my journey and my story. I think it's so important that we show the other side of this business and the human side to this and how we all need to collaborate together to really put Canada on the forefront. So what a great initiative. And whoever is going to win this contest is going to have one hell of a day.
Yes.
Either they're going to fall in love with this business or they're going to say, I'm just going back to acting and I'm good where I am. It's like, no, thank you. You deal with the numbers and all that. That's not why I signed up for. But regardless, I think it'll be a great day for our winner. And a big thank you to all the actors. And I do one final thing want to say, thank you to all the talent agents, all the actors from day one that believed in what it was that we were doing. It doesn't go unnoticed. It's very, very much appreciated. We cannot wait to continue building with you all.
Yes. Now, Adam was talking about his mentors. One of you is going to have the chance to be mentored by Adam and his team. Last chance. The hashtag is #ShadowRF Studios to be entered into that contest. Evan, our amazing tech person behind the scenes here on StreamYard, are you able to pull the giveaway page up? Can we do this in real time and show people do it? Or show people how it's done? Waiting. Wait for it. In the meantime, thank you for everyone who's been here. We do this pretty much every Tuesday, sometimes a little more, sometimes casting directors, agents, producers, directors, actors. How we doing there, Evan? Oh, okay, here it goes. Get those votes in. He's going to click the button. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Big money, no whammies. Big money, no whammies. Big money, no whammies. Kristen McCarthy Barry, you are the winner. Gagnon, winner, Gagnon, winner, Gagnon. Look at that. Now, we'll figure out the best way to do that. We didn't talk about this. How do they get in touch?
So I think for the winner of the contest, they could send an email at entertainment411@ebosscanada.com. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was the information I was provided. So I don't know if you want to confirm that, but I believe that that's...
Yes. Evan, can we confirm that?
entertainment411@ebosscanada.com.
Amazing. I think Evan's going to throw that in the chat here if you like. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, you can just cut and paste that and throw it in the chat there, Evan. That'd be great. All right. Thank you so much, Adam, for being here. Thank you to all of our viewers at home. Keep creating incredible art. Keep auditioning. Keep expressing yourself. Keep taking big swings and being bold. If you want to be a part of this show, either as a guest or potentially as a sponsor, you can reach out on behalf of the eBoss team and the Entertainment 411 team and your regular host, Fareed. I want to say thank you. It's been a pleasure. Great meeting you, Adam. We got to do this again sometime. And let's go for that free lunch one of these days.
We gotta have you in one of our shorts. First, I gotta get you on camera. We gotta have you in one of our shorts. So
I'll send you my details and let's do it. Yeah. I
appreciate it.
I was just in Montreal and I'd love to be back there. So
you're more than welcome. Anytime you're over, same thing for any actors that are in the city, reach out and we'll find a role for you.
Amazing. Congrats on everything. Good luck, and we'll see you on the next one.